Okay, so let's get started.
Section 3. You will hear two psychology students called Lisa and Greg discussing a project they have to do. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 27. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 27.
OK, Greg, so I finally managed to read the article you mentioned, the one about the study on gender in physics.
About the study of college students done by Akira Miyake and his team. Yeah, I was interested that the researchers were actually a mix of psychologists and physicists. That's an unusual combination.
Yeah, I got a little confused at first about which students the study was based on. They weren't actually majoring in physics, they were majoring in what's known as the STEM disciplines. That's science, technology, engineering and
math. Yes, but they were all doing physics courses as part of their studies.
That's correct. So, as I understood it, Miyake and co. started from the fact that women are underrepresented in introductory physics courses at college, and also that, on average, the women who do enroll on these courses perform more poorly than the men. No one really knows why this is the case.
Yeah, but what the researchers wanted to find out was basically what they could do about the relatively low level of the women's results. But in order to find a solution, they needed to find out more about the nature of the problem.
Right. Now, let's see if I can remember. It was that in the physics class, the female students thought the male students all assumed that women weren't any good at physics. Was that it? And they thought that the men expected them to get poor results in their tests.
That's what the women thought, and that made them nervous, so they did get poor results. But actually, they were wrong. No one was making any assumptions about the female students at all.
Anyway, what Miyake's team did was quite simple, getting the students to do some writing before they went into the physics class. What did they call it?
Values affirmation. They had to write an essay focusing on things that were significant to them, not particularly to do with the subject they were studying, but more general things like music or people who mattered to them.
Right. So the idea of doing the writing is that this gets the students thinking in a positive way.
And putting these thoughts into words can relax them and help them overcome the psychological factors that lead to poor performance. Yeah. But what the researchers in the study hadn't expected was that this one activity raised the women's physics grades from the C to the B range.
A huge change. Pity it wasn't to an A, but still. No, but it does suggest that the women were seriously underperforming beforehand in comparison with the men.
Yes. Mind you, Miyake's article left out a lot of details, like did the students do the writing just once or several times? And had they been told why they were doing the writing? That might have affected the results.
You mean if they know the researchers thought it might help them to improve, then they just try to fulfill that expectation?
Exactly.
Before you hear the rest of the discussion, you have some time to look at questions 28 to 30. Now listen and answer questions 28 to 30.
So anyway, I thought for our project we could do a similar study, but investigate whether it really was the writing activity that had that result.
OK, so we could ask them to do a writing task about something completely different, something more factual, like a general knowledge topic.
Maybe, or we could have half the students doing a writing task and half doing something else, like an oral task.
Or even half do the same writing task as in the original research and half do a factual writing task. Then we'd see if it really is the topic that made the difference or something else.
That's it. Good. So, at our meeting with the supervisor on Monday, we can tell him we've decided on our project. We should have our aims ready by then. I suppose we need to read the original study. The article's just a summary.
And there was another article I read by Smolinski. It was about her research on how women and men perform in mixed teams in class, compared with single-sex teams and on their own.
Let me guess, the women were better at teamwork.
That's what I expected. But actually, the men and the women got the same results, whether they were working in teams or on their own. But I guess it's not that relevant to us.
What worries me, anyway, is how we're going to get everything done in the time.
We'll be okay now we know what we're doing. Though I'm not clear how we assess whether the students in our experiment actually make any progress or not.
No, we may need some advice on that. The main thing's to make sure we have the right size sample, not too big or too small.
That shouldn't be difficult. Right, what do we need to do next? We could have a look at the timetable for the science classes. Or perhaps we should just make an appointment to see one of the science professors. That'd be better.
Great. And we could even get to observe one of the classes.
What for?
Well, OK, maybe let's just go with your idea. Right, well, I think that's everything for now.
That is the end of section 3. You now have half a minute to check your answers. Now turn to section 4.
Oke. Itu dia 30 detik yang teman-teman gunakan untuk ngecek posisinya nomor 21 sampai 30 apakah semuanya sudah komplit di sini. Cek. Kak Ajeng komplit.
Complete, sir.
Kak Asmi komplit juga ya.
Complete, sir.
Oh, Kak
Complete,
Jul
sir.
komplit.
But don't know whether true or not.
Oke, yang penting adalah komplit dulu. Teman-teman bisa mengimbangi berarti masalah kecepatan maupun pengetahuan tentang apa yang dibahas dalam konteks ini. Oke, yuk kita bahas nomor 1. Kak Ajeng, what do you think the answer for number 1?
21C.
What is it? So, what's the
21.
answer?
Science, Technology, Engineering, Mathematics.
Oke, Charlie ya.
Ya.
Perfect. Karena fisik pun disebutkan, psychology or fisik pun juga disebutkan. Ternyata mereka itu memang jurusannya itu mencakup lebih komplitnya ada di Charlie. Oke, nice one. Good. Kak Azmi, number 22. The aim of this study.
Number 22B.
A way of improving women's performance in physics. Okay, correct. Jadi jawabannya adalah way of improving women performance in physics. Jadi tujuan mereka memang pengen meningkatkan performa mahasiswinya ya. Okay, next, Kak Aina, number 23.
B, the male student expected them to do badly.
The male students expected them to do badly. Di sini pertanyaannya adalah female physics students were wrong to believe. Jadi salah asumsi atau mereka itu lagi ngira-ngira kayaknya secara negatif itu para mahasiswi itu berpikir apa tentang male. Ternyata benar ya. Mereka berpikir katanya si cowok-cowok itu pasti menginginkan hal-hal buruk yang terjadi terhadap mereka. Itulah yang difikirkan para mahasiswinya. Oke, good. Betul. Number 24, Kak Jul. Disuruh nulis apa nih mereka?
I answer for A, sir. What they enjoyed about studying physics.
What they enjoy about studying physics. Incorrect. Tidak menuliskan tentang apa yang mereka pelajari tentang fisik. No. Mungkin ada yang tahu. Satu lagi. Selain Kak Jul di sini, jawabannya yang beda.
Is
Kak
it
Aina.
C, sir?
C. Kenapa kok bisa C? Kak Aina. Masih alasannya.
I think I heard significance in the audio.
Significant of what? Significant only.
Yeah, like something that they like.
Or you forgot the explanation ya.
Yeah.
Yeah, you forgot the explanation, but you got the correct answer. Let's try to listen a little bit. Di sini.
Students the study was based on. They was the female students thought the male students all assumed that women weren't any good at physics. What Miyake's team did was quite simple, getting the students to do some writing before they went into the physics class. What did they call it?
Values affirmation. They had to write an essay focusing on things that were significant to them, not
Focusing on them that significant to them itu sebenarnya belum menjawab, tapi jawabannya mesti setelah ini.
particularly to do with the subject they were studying.
Not particularly related to the subject that they study. Jadi silakan nulis sesuatu yang signifikan terhadap mereka, tapi nggak ada kaitannya sama pelajaran, nggak ada kaitannya sama jurusan.
But more general things like music or people who mattered to them.
Right.
Cenderung sesuatu yang berpengaruh seperti musik atau sesuatu yang membuat mereka terinspirasi atau get inspired gitu ya.
So the idea of doing the writing is that this gets the students thinking in a positive way.
And putting these thoughts into words can relax them and help them overcome the psychological factors that.
Nah, jadi fungsinya adalah menulis sesuatu yang apa istilahnya? Yang berkaitan dengan mereka secara langsung, tapi bukan tentang pelajaran. Bisa role model, bisa tentang musik, atau tentang sesuatu yang mereka sukai. Jadi kalau alpha bukan, kalau B successful experience of other people, iya, tapi kan nggak harus ke sini juga. Nah, sebenarnya juga boleh menuliskan sesuatu pengalaman sukses seseorang yang menginspirasi mereka boleh, tapi nggak harus ke sini. Karena apa? Fokusnya adalah sesuatu yang menginspirasi mereka. Jadi lingkupnya lebih luas daripada kesuksesan seseorang saja. Apa yang mereka sukai juga boleh. Makanya jawabannya adalah something that was important to them personally. Sorry. Jadi jawabannya adalah Charlie. Oke, tadi Kak Jul sudah, sekarang kembali ke Kak Ajeng. Number 25.
A, to reduce stress.
Nah, barusan ikutan nyangkut ya audionya. Nah, jadi fungsinya mereka menulis adalah to make them relax. To make them relax itu berarti membuat mereka itu reduce stress. Kak Azmi, 26. What surprised the research about the study?
I answer B, sir.
The positive impact it had on physical results for women. Jadi ternyata ada positive impact-nya ya. Oke. Kak Aina, 27.
C.
The information students were given. Yes. Greg and Lisa think Miyake result could have been affected by, jadi hasil dari penelitian mereka itu bisa dipengaruhi dari hal-hal sederhana yang didapatkan dari para mahasiswa dan mahasiswa itu sendiri, yaitu informasi that they were given. Bukan karena writing-nya, bukan karena the number of student yang join. Okay. Kak Jul, number 28.
I got confused about A and B, sir, but I answered for A.
Greg sama Lisa itu ngasih mereka project. Projectnya apa? Nah, ini hampir disebutkan semuanya karena mereka itu juga diskusi kan, namanya juga diskusi, jadi kayak seolah-olah disebutkan semuanya. Padahal finalnya itu mereka itu pengen menuliskan dua hal yang berbeda. Dinulis saja dua hal yang berbeda. Two different oral tasks ini ditawarkan tapi belum disetujui. Writing task and oral task juga ditawarkan tapi belum disetujui. Yang disetujui adalah yang bagian A. Oke, nice one. Next, kembali ke Kak Ajeng. 29.
B. Had no effect on the performance of men and women.
Iya, the main findings Monsky Research ketika mereka itu ngasih ujian tadi, different writing task tadi, masalah teamwork atau enggaknya itu ternyata enggak ada bedanya. Hasilnya sama saja. Jadi jawabannya adalah bravo. Yang terakhir, Kak Azmi.
A, sir.
Iya, ini bahkan ditanyakan semuanya kan? Kalau ditanyakan, disebutkan semuanya kan? Pertama, look at the science timetable. Si cewek menawarkan opsi pertama yang Charlie. Yang kedua adalah make appointment to a professor. Terus habis itu si cowok juga menawarkan yang observe science class. Tapi ketika ditanya untuk apa, ternyata cowoknya ya udah just do with it. Do with it berarti kembali ke si wanita dengan jatuh ke pilihan kedua, yaitu talk to a professor. Di sini siapa yang benar semua? Salah satu atau salah dua? Loh. Kayaknya bener, banyak benernya barusan yang jawab. Kenapa nggak ada yang salah satu, salah dua? Salah tiga? Oke. Masa salah
Me
lima?
got
Oh,
me
ya.
got four
I
wrong
got
answer.
4
True
juga.
force.
Mayoritas salah 4 ya.
Iya, sir.
Tapi ketika menjawab benar semua barusan.
Kebetulan yang benar, sir.
Oh, berarti ketika yang teman lain jawab, nah jadi kemungkinan kalian juga salah gitu ya. Tapi waktu saya minta untuk menjawab pas bener loh. Ini aneh ini. Oke lah, tapi selama masih banyak benernya, oke, it's a good start kan, masih awal-awal ya, masih minggu pertama itu oke lah. Bener 6 dari 10 soal bener 6 lumayan lah. Semoga nanti ke depannya bisa dilatih menjadi lebih baik lagi. Saya akan tinggalkan beberapa latihan buat teman-teman nanti. Setidaknya kalau benar 6, terus kalian section 1, section 2 benar semua, ya kalian sudah dapat 6,5. Jadi, oke. Oke, sampai sini ada pertanyaan? Kalau nggak ada, saya akan lanjutkan ke section 4. No questions? Ya, lanjut. Nah, kita masuk ke section 4. Di sini pembahasnya adalah ocean biodiversity. Ingat, perintahnya hanya one word only for each answer. Kalau completion model kayak gini, tekniknya sama seperti section 1, jawabannya pasti ada di audio. Karena tidak disiapkan jawabannya. Okay, so let's get started.
Section 4. You will hear part of a student presentation about the variety of different species that live in the world's oceans. First, you have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40.
I've been looking at ocean biodiversity. That's the diversity of species that live in the world's oceans. About 20 years ago, biologists developed the idea of what they called biodiversity hotspots. These are the areas which have the greatest mixture of species. So one example is Madagascar. These hotspots are significant because they allow us to locate key areas for focusing efforts at conservation. Biologists can identify hotspots on land fairly easily, but until recently, very little was known about species distribution and diversity in the oceans, and no one even knew if hotspots existed there. Then a Canadian biologist called Boris Worm did some research in 2005 on data on ocean species that he got from the fishing industry. Worm located 5 hotspots for large ocean predators, like sharks, and looked at what they had in common. The main thing he'd expected to find was that they had very high concentrations of food, but to his surprise, that was only true for 4 of the hotspots. The remaining hotspot was quite badly off in that regard. But what he did find was that in all cases, the water at the surface of the ocean had relatively high temperatures, even when it was cool at greater depths. So this seemed to be a factor in supporting a diverse range of these large predators. However, this wasn't enough on its own, because he also found that the water needed to have enough oxygen in it. So these 2 factors seemed necessary to support the high metabolic rate of these large fish. A couple of years later, in 2007, a researcher called Lisa Balance, who was working in California, also started looking for ocean hotspots, but not for fish. What she was interested in was marine mammals, things like seals. And she found 3 places in the oceans which were hotspots, and what these had in common was that these hotspots were all located at boundaries between ocean currents. And this seems to be the sort of place that has lots of the plankton that some of these species feed on. So now people who want to protect the species that are endangered need to get as much information as possible. For example, there's an international project called the Census of Marine Life. They've been surveying oceans all over the world, including the Arctic. One thing they found there, which stunned other researchers, was that there were large numbers of species which live below the ice, sometimes under a layer up to 20 meters thick. Some of these species had never been seen before. They've even found species of octopus living in these conditions. And other scientists working on the same project but researching very different habitats on the ocean floor have found large numbers of species congregating around volcanoes, attracted to them by the warmth and nutrients there. However, biologists still don't know how serious the threat to their survival is for each individual species. So a body called the Global Marine Species Assessment is now creating a list of endangered species on land, so they consider things like the size of the population, how many members of one species there are in a particular place, and then they look at their distribution in geographical terms, although this is quite difficult when you're looking at fish because they're so mobile. And then thirdly, they calculate the rate at which the decline of the species is happening. So far, only 1,500 species have been assessed, but they want to increase this figure to 20,000. For each one they assess, they use the data they collect on that species to produce a map showing its distribution. Ultimately, they will be able to use these to figure out not only where most species are located, but also where they are most threatened. So, finally, what can be done to retain the diversity of species in the world's oceans? Firstly, we need to set up more reserves in our oceans, places where marine species are protected. We have some, but not enough. In addition, to preserve species such as leatherback turtles, which live out in the high seas but have their nesting sites on the American coast, we need to create corridors for migration, so they can get from one area to another safely. As well as this, action needs to be taken to lower the levels of fishing quotas to prevent overfishing of endangered species. And finally, there's the problem of bycatch. This refers to the catching of unwanted fish by fishing boats. They're returned to the sea, but they're often dead or dying. If these commercial fishing boats used equipment which was more selective so that only the fish wanted for consumption were caught, this problem could be overcome. OK, so does anyone have any questions about...
That is the end of section 4. You now have half a minute to check your answers. That is the end of the listening test. You now have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. Please stop writing and wait for your question booklet to be collected.
Nah, 10 menit untuk menulis ulang atau ngecek ulang. Itu nanti setelah itu examinernya bakal collect the paper. Tapi itu yang manual atau yang paper ya, yang lama. Tapi kalau yang zaman sekarang kayaknya hampir nggak ada yang mau ambil yang paper based. Semuanya ngambil yang computer based. Lebih easy karena tinggal type, yakin, tinggal kali klik submit selesai. Ya, efisien. Itu yang lama. Tapi lama-lama selama-lamanya Ielts hanya baru sekitar tahun kemarin itu masih banyak yang menggunakan paper based. COVID, pertengahan COVID itu sudah mulai banyak yang meninggalkan sih. Oke, jadi kita masih termasuk agak baru. Oke, is there anyone blank for some numbers? Kak Ajeng, Kak Asmi, Kak Ina, Kak Jul. Ada yang blank nggak nih? Aman semua?
Ngaman tapi nggak tahu sir betul atau enggak.
Oh, nggak apa-apa. Masalah keraguan-raguan itu oke, normal itu ya. Sampai kapanpun ragu kok. Sampai kapanpun ragu. Nggak ragu itu kan kalau kita tahu bener alasannya. Sedangkan dalam listening kita pasti ada beberapa konteks yang kita itu agak butuh pengulangan karena kita memang tidak terbiasa dengan bahasa-bahasa seperti ini. Tapi it's okay. Kalian uji kemampuan dengan cara sedikit tanda-tanda dan tebakan teman-teman saja. Oke. Kalau nggak ada yang miss, berarti kita koreksi secara langsung. Oke. Wait a second. Oke, kita bahas nomor 31. Kak Jul dulu deh. Nah, kita ganti versi sekarang. Perubahannya dari belakang. What's your answer, Kak Jul?
I answered for ocean, sir.
Wait a second, can I write on it? What's your answer?
Ocean.
Ocean. Ocean. Okay. Oh no, that's not the answer. But it's okay. Thank you for answering. Who
Okay.
wants to help? Kaina, bisa bantu?
I'm not sure also, but I answered hotspot.
Hotspot.
Yeah.
Still no. Kak Azmi?
I answer conservation.
Nah, this one, correct. How you spell?
conservation.
Okay. The answer is conservation. Okay. Important for like intelligence for conservation. Ya. Di sini area biodiversity hotspot. Area containing many data sources important for locating targets for kalau important for locating target for ocean nanti kan nggak nyambung gitu. Kadang teman-teman tidak boleh hanya sekedar menjawab, tapi kadang sesuaikan dengan teks sebelumnya. Apakah sudah sesuai? Tempat yang penting untuk menargetkan hotspot. Tuh, juga kurang pas. Okay, thank you. But anyway, next, Kak Ajeng, to 32. We're not always rich in.
Food.
How you spell?
FOOD.
Okay. FOOD atau
Pakai S ya.
FOODS boleh. Karena di sini kan beda spesies, makanannya beda-beda, makanya foodnya boleh pakai S. Kalau makannya jenisnya satu dan banyak, itu pakai food saja. Tapi kalau makanan jenisnya beda, lebih banyak, pakai S. Oke, kembali ke Kak Jo. 33.
Oxygen, sir. Sorry. It's 33 surface.
Oh, lah, kok sampai oksigen tadi. Wah. Ini. How you spell surface?
SUFA.
SUFA.
SURFACE.
Hmm. Di penelitiannya Boris Worm ini tinggi permukaannya itu memang hangat ya, at higher temperatures. Oke. Kak Aina, 34.
Oxygen.
How you spell?
OXYGEN.
Oke. Gini boleh atau kalau kalian ambil berani resiko gini boleh. Oke ya, tapi jarang yang berani ambil resiko kayak gini. Oke, next Kak Asmi, 35.
I'm not sure, but I answer seals.
Seals, how you spell seals?
Seals.
No, that's not the answer. Okay, but anyway, thank you for answering. Kak Ajeng, perhaps you can put your answer here too.
Mammals.
How you spell?
Mammals.
Yes, this one the correct one. Mammal. Look for hotspot for marine mammal. Oke, betul ini ya. Kadang mammal sama pun itu teman-teman nulisnya M-nya satu, jadi salah lagi deh. Nice one. Next, 36 kembali ke Kak Jul. Found new ocean space living under the
I answer under the layer, sir.
under the layer. Layer of what?
Layer of I don't know, layer of something. But I only read layer.
Layer. Fortunately, that's not the answer for layer. Okay, Kaina, can you put the answer here?
I answer ice, but I'm not sure because I hear Ellie too at the audio. But I answer ice.
Yes, how you spell?
ICE.
Yes, this is the correct answer. Under the ice. Census of marine life itu menemukan ada kehidupan di bawah es. Nah, dari layer esnya itu kan tebel sekali itu. Ternyata ketika ditelusuri lah, ternyata ada kehidupan di bawahnya. Padahal possible sih sebenarnya. Nah, near volcanoes on the ocean floor. Nah, berarti dekat gunung berapi di dasar laut. Okay, next, Kak Azmi, 37. Rate of
Species.
rate of species. Jumlah dari spesies.
Yes, I answer species, sir.
Spesies, gini kah?
Iya.
Global Marine Species Assessment. Jadi Global Marine ini dites ya atau diteliti lagi. Want to list endangered ocean species. Dia pengen ngelis nih spesies apa aja yang terancam punah. Dia mempertimbangkan tentang populasi ukurannya, geographical distribution-nya, sama jumlah dari spesies ya. But unfortunately, this is not the answer. Kak Ajeng, put your answer here.
I answer decline.
How you spell decline?
DECLINE.
Why you answer decline?
Because I heard about decline. Yeah, after the speaker mention the geographical distribution, terus rate of bla 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 bla, terus ada decline-nya gitu, jadi kayaknya decline sih.
Okay, yes, that's the correct answer, decline. Karena di sini yang diukur itu bukan rate of species, maksudnya jumlah spesiesnya enggak, tapi jumlah penurunannya yang diteliti. Mana sih yang terus menurun jumlahnya kan gitu. Nah, jadi enaknya yang ada di apa ini namanya completion itu jawabannya langsung muncul jelas. Tapi kalau di pilihan ganda kita masih memparaphrase pesannya yang mirip dengan yang disediakan yang mana. Tuh. Oke, Kak Jo lagi 38 to assess 20,000 species and make distribution.
Map.
How you spell?
MAP.
Yes, correct. Map for each one. Oke, membuat alur untuk setiap spesiesnya ya. Oke, next. Recommendation to retain ocean biodiversity. Bagaimana nih biar mereka ini bisa kembali lagi, lebih baik lagi. 39, Kak Aina.
Nomor Ini 9 migration.
How you spell?
MIGRATION.
Migration. Correct. The answer is migration. Establish migration corridor. Jadi membuat alur untuk turtles ini ya, biar mereka itu migrasinya aman. Oke, last one, Kak Azmi.
I don't really get it, but I answer consumption. And I
Oh,
feel it's wrong.
oh, you don't have to feel it. After you answer all the questions here, you just need to pray ya. Nggak boleh mikirin, aduh, aku kok nggak yakin. Wes itu udah ditinggal harusnya. Udah bukan wilayah kita lagi untuk menyesali sesuatu yang sudah terlewati. Doain aja. Consumption. Apakah seperti ini? Oh, kebalik.
M dan P-nya kebalik, sir.
Consumption.
Ya.
Yes, the answer is consumption. Jadi
Oh, oke.
kalau pengen mengembalikan ocean biodiversity ini kembali subur lagi, kembali kelawar lagi adalah mereka itu pengennya jangan menangkap besar-besaran sehingga mereka menangkap sesuatu yang mereka nggak butuhkan, seperti yang kecil-kecil, terlalu kecil-kecil itu akhirnya jadi ikut ketangkep dan dibuang gitu aja kan, kehidupan mereka bisa lanjut bisa enggak kan kayak gitu. Jadi silahkan tangkap yang digunakan atau maksudnya yang buat konsumsi saja tuh.
Sir,
Saran sih seperti itu.
sir,
Gimana?
could you please repeat the audio, sir? Because yes, I correct. I answer the same. I answered the same answer, consumption. But when I heard it is consumptive, sir. Is it
Oke.
possible for us to change the form of the word?
Consumption itu untuk dikonsumsi lah. Konsumtif itu kayak sifat
Yeah,
seseorang.
I mean on the audio I heard consumptive. Like, is it possible for us to change the form of the word, sir?
Oh, you
In
should.
Ielts?
Okay, let's listen first ya.
We have some, but not enough. In addition, to preserve species such as leatherback turtles, which live out in the high seas but have their nesting sites on the American coast for fishing of endangered species. And finally, there's the problem of bycatch. This refers to the catching of unwanted fish by fishing boats. They're returned to the sea, but they're often dead or dying. If these commercial fishing boats used equipment which was more selective so that only the fish wanted for consumption were caught.
Konsumtif.
Oh, consumptionnya ada. Setelahnya saya dengarnya konsumtif. Ada setelahnya. Okay.
Could be overcome. Okay, so does anyone have any questions about...
Okay, I got it wrong, sir.
Nah,
So it's impossible to change the form ya, sir?
karena yang ini completion kayak gini biasanya jawabannya itu persis seperti yang diucapkan. Nah, permasalahannya biasanya ada di spelling saja. Maksudnya di spelling saja. Jadi kalau kayak kemarin entry jadi entrance, consumption jadi consumptive, itu mungkin karena kita aja yang lagi nggak benar-benar fokus di situ, jadi kita bisa saja beda kayak gitu. Tapi beberapa kalau memang terdengar itu maksudnya bisa sama, hanya beda kelas kata, ketika maksudnya sama ya, itu juga boleh. Contohnya di nomor 37. Decline ini bisa berbentuk verb, bisa berbentuk noun. Declining pun juga boleh. Nah, kayak gitu. Jadi option itu kebetulan ada. Jadi apa ya istilahnya? Kalau merubah sebuah jenis kelas kata itu potensi dibenarkannya itu kecil. Untung-untungan saja kalau bisa benar. Tapi 90% potensinya nggak boleh dirubah. Harus asli. Kecuali teman-teman ngerasa seperti itu. Ya udah rubah aja. Akhir-akhirnya tetap doain aja ya. Semoga itu dimaklumi atau dibolehkan. Kembali lagi ke examinernya nanti.
Oh, jadi sebetulnya tuh kalau ngisi-ngisi yang fill in the blank kayak gini masih ada kemungkinan dianulir gitu ya, Mister?
Betul. Ada yang
Kayak puts, declining gitu-gitu ya, Sir?
oh, masih
Oh,
ada yang bisa dimaafkan. Tapi kalau dari saya sendiri, kita nggak boleh berharap maaf itu diberikan. Kita coba seperfect mungkin sesuai apa yang kita dengar gitu aja. Kalau nanti kita salah nulis atau kurang S atau apa, harapannya adalah si examiner mau memaafkan dan membenarkan itu. Karena alah kurang dikit aja kan gitu kan. Nah, gitu sih case-nya. Gitu ya Kak Jul ya. Duh,
okay, thank you, Sir.
nah, aman lah ya. Nah, ini adalah gambaran untuk section 4. Jadi, kita besok review section 1 sampai 4. Latihan untuk ngelihat band score teman-teman kira-kira minggu ini prepare listening selama seminggu ini udah dapat band score berapa? Minimal dapat 6,5 lah ya. Kalau ini misalkan teman-teman banyak yang salah 4 atau 5 pun nggak masalah. Karena apa? Karena section 3 tadi udah bener 6, di sini bener 3 kan 9 tuh. Nah, kalau section 1, section 2-nya bener semua, nah, udah 29, udah dapat 7, lumayan. Apalagi lah kok di sini banyak benernya kan gitu. Jadi utamakan section 1, section 2 maksimalkan, section 3 dan section 4 ya banyak-banyak doakan. Semoga banyak benernya. Karena kita juga nggak akan pernah tahu topik apa yang akan muncul. Syukur-syukur kalau topiknya mudah kita pahami dan mudah kita bayangkan, imajinasikan. Mungkin karena pernah nonton movie atau nonton dokumentari atau teman-teman sendiri pernah baca tentang apa gitu terus cocok sama kayak gini, wah itu malah lebih enak lagi, lebih cepet apa istilahnya eh, konteks pemahamannya itu lebih cepat daripada sesuatu hal yang baru. Itu lebih mempotensikan teman-teman dapat banyak benernya. Jadi potensi skor lebih dari 7 sangat-sangat lebih mudah lagi. Jadi seperti itu aja ya guys ya. Ada pertanyaan sampai sini? Cukup? Nggak ada ya? Aman ya? Nggak ada. Kalau nggak ada pertanyaan, mungkin saya cukupkan dulu kelas pagi ini. Kita lanjut besok lagi untuk review dari section 1 sampai section 4. So thank you guys for joining this morning. Have a good day and have a great day too. See you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye-bye everyone.
Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. Bye.
Welcome.